welcome to Pumpkin's nail station. Drum roll. Not really, just playing with you. So we've got some Sheen Modern jelly paints, watercolour paints on a canvas, and they are these if you've not seen them. So they're kind of like a jelly gel that you can add a bit of water to on your canvas for a bit of extra fun. I'm just going to get another canvas that I can add some water to it. So basically I'm just going to get a little bit of water and we're just going to pop it onto there so we can kind of mix the paints up with a bit of water. Okay, so we've got that, and we've also got one of these for cleaning our brushes. I've prepared the nail tips. I struggled to get that out then. With some on black and some on white. So I've stamped in white on here using bold patterns. So I've used a couple of plates. I will show you the plates on the screen now. All the plates, and then this one's got a little fairy on it. And these ones here are white because we're going to add some colour in the background, and then we're going to pop some foils over them. So we're just going to try something like that. So basically we're going to need to make these matte, so we're going to add a matte top coat over all of the tips first. So I'm going to do that with one, and then I'm going to come back when they're all done. So I'm just using AB All's matte top coat. So I'm just going to do that to all of the nails, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, right, so here we are. So I've just got some of these cheapy art brushes that I got from AliExpress, I think, something like that. I'm just going to make sure there's nothing on there that needs to come off. So I'm just going to dunk that in some water just to wet it up, and we're just going to go for some colours that's on here now, and we're just going to have some fun. So I think I'm going to go for this like tealy blue, and then maybe get a little bit of water on it. Not too much, so I just basically wet my brush there. Okay, and then just go onto your finger and just take away some of the liquid. And then we're just going to pop some colour onto here, like so. Just clean your brush out in the water, you don't need anything else. And then I'm going to go for one of these light pinks, just as it is, bold. Oh, I think that's a bit too wet. See, this is where you've got to be careful. If you make a mistake, get some water and just wipe it off, it will come off. Like literally just wipe it off and it's gone. So I think that was way too wet. That was my fault. So I'm just gonna get some of this and just pop some on the sides. Like so. And then I'm going to go for some of this pink and just pop some in the middle, like so, and maybe a bit on the edges. It doesn't really matter if you go over the lines because it won't show up over the black anyway. So we've got that one is done. And we're going to go on to the next one, which I think I may do like a bit of green in there. I think we're going to go for some green, which I've diluted down somewhat. Okay, some green. and some orange. And maybe a bit of, where's the purple? Is this one the purple? Did I put any purple on here? That's it, that's the purple. And then I might pop a little bit of purple down here. And a bit more orange here, get a bit brighter. Okay, so I think that's okay. And maybe a little blue on the legs here. Okay, right, so that's cool. I'm okay with that. I think I might make this purple a little bit more opaque. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to leave that like that to dry off. And now we're going to come into here. And I think we're going to go for some blue. I just wet my brush very slightly. And just take out some of that water. And we're going to do some of this peacock feather, like on the outside, like blue. Okay. And then on the inside, green. Okay, so I've decided just to speed this up because the video was too long. So I've showed you some at full speed. Basically, I'm just following exactly what I was doing a minute ago. Adding some more colours to this nail, some just colours, just the jelly colours, and some I may have wet my brush very slightly. So I'm mixing some of the colours on the images and some of them I'm just doing as a full colour. So I'm basically going to do this on this one, and then after that I have a fairy nail, and then we're going to move on to something else a bit later on in the video. I would suggest leaving, not wetting the brush too much, because obviously if it's too wet it does take a bit longer to dry. But all in all it takes about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It may be a lot faster on the actual nail bed because your nail bed is warmer. But stick it in front of a fan and it will dry a lot faster. But I would recommend ensuring this is fully dry. If you wanted it to be more opaque, you could always add a little bit more onto it, like very sparingly, to give it a bit more colour, if that's what you're looking for. But once you top coat these, they look really beautiful. I add some glitter to these later on, like a bit of a glitter top coat, like topper kind of polish. So you'll see that later anyway. But honestly, for stamping images to jazz them up, these are awesome. I'm in love. Honestly, I am in love. I will be getting more of these for sure. A bit, so we're going to leave them just to dry a little bit more, and we're going to do the backgrounds for these while we're waiting for those to be dry enough for me to mess about with them, because I added water to them. They do take a little bit longer to dry. Okay, so I'm just going to reset the camera just so it doesn't cut off on us, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, right, so we're straight back, so let's go. So we're going to mix in some of this with this colour. I'm just trying to mix up colours and see what colours I get. colour's that? Ooh, that's pretty. So we're going to get a bit of this with a bit of this. And then we're just going to kind of come down like that, and we're going to do it in like an ombre kind of colour. Like that.
Okay, so I've speeded this up again. All I'm doing is adding a couple of colours and trying to blend them together using a little bit of water, because I want them to be quite pale, because we're going to be adding some rose decals by She Modern, like all the way down the coloured part. I wanted to get that like alcohol ink effect. I was trying for that. It doesn't quite give that effect, but it's actually really gorgeous. Like for just a pale background to say stamping or some, you know, negative space water decals or something like that, it would be really cool. Then I'm just going to move on to one that's just in the center for the butterfly. So again, I use a couple of colors and just blend them out, and we're going to stick some foil decals onto these. So I'm just going to let you watch this. Again, make sure it's fully dry, because we're going to add some glue gel, grip gel, sorry, over this. If you don't have that, you could just add some base coat over it and then stamp your decals onto that if you don't have the grip gel. But I do recommend the grip gel because it is different to a base coat, and it's actually really good for, you know, positioning a decal how you want it and straightening them out. And it does work on just normal decals as well.
Well, let's have a look at this. Is this dry? Yeah, so these are going to take a little bit to dry. That I won't lie about, because I'm adding water to them. And then we're going to just clean this brush out. Go in with some of this blue, a bit more blue on this colour on the side here. Just want it to be a touch dry.
So again, I've speeded this up, but this is what I was talking about earlier on. If you wanted a little bit more colour, you could just pop a tiny bit on your brush and just give yourself a little bit more of more opacity by just adding a bit more on it. And I think the bottom butterfly, I wiped that off and decided to do it again because I actually didn't like the way the orange looked. So you'll see in a minute, I'll try to do it, but it just starts to look muddy. So with these being watercolours, you can just get water and wipe it off the nail and start again. You can do that, it's cool. So you'll see me doing that in a minute. And then I just start again, and I just use an orange without any water in it. And the same for the outer part, because it just didn't seem to work with the water on this particular colour, because it's already quite pale. So yeah, you'll see. I just get a lint wipe with some water on it, and I just wipe it off and redo the nail. So again, I'm just going to let you watch this. If you've got any questions, just ask. I will do my best to answer them.
Layer plate, so you can do your base and then colour it in and then come back and then add a little bit of detail in. So you can do that, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I'm just going to add a touch of detail in the wings here, like so.
I used a layer plate. I stamped the base of the image in a solid butterfly, and then we coloured it in, and now I'm deciding just to stamp a bit of detail on in white. So yeah, that's all I'm doing. I'm just giving the butterfly a bit of detail, and on the bottom one I use black for the detail. And then a bit later on I think we use some white for the fairy's wings or something like that. So again, it's quite simple. I'm just stamping. So I just stamped straight on to the jelly gel. I didn't add any top coat or anything at this stage.
And then these, we're going to add some grip gel to them. So I'm just going to move.
Okay, so we've added the grip gel onto these, and what we're doing now is we're going to be adding the water decals over it. Oh no, I'm not. I'm adding the grip gel. I'm adding the grip gel to this, and then I'm going to cure it for 30 seconds in my UV LED lamp, but curing times will depend on whatever lamp that you are using, because it's just the same as a base coat, so just cure it as if it was that.
And then we're just going to get some top coat onto these ones. Okay, so now it's time for the exciting bits. Okay, so this one was the butterfly. We're going to add it over like this, and with the grip gel you can maneuver the butterfly exactly how you want it. And then we're going to get some acetone.
So you can see I've added a decal onto the grip gel there, and then what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to add another layer of grip gel, and then we're going to add a holographic butterfly on the top of it and sort of maneuver it a bit to the side. But before I'm doing that, I'm just tidying up the edges with some acetone. So I'm just cleaning up the line edge of where I've cut the decal just to make it nice and flush, and then I just cleaned up the sides. Then we're going to add some grip gel, cure that, and then we're going to add another butterfly on top of that and just sort of angle it so you can still see the black underneath. You could just stop with the black or just add a hollow one, but I just wanted to be a bit extra. And then on the second nail, we're just adding the rose decals like black hollow, something like that. And I think I might use a different flower as well. Just at an angle, like following that colour line. So again, I'll do that, and then I'll just clean it up with acetone, and then we'll add a top coat. So I'm just going to let you watch this.
Okay, right, so here we are. So these are the nails. Let's go through them one by one. So these are the butterflies. They kind of look a bit pastel on a neon background. I think they're pretty cool. And that's the one where I tried to get like that alcohol ink effect, like with the image over the top. Maybe I shouldn't have added the hollow, I don't know. These are the peacock feathers that I did in matte with a bit of glitter. And then this was the one like where I kind of did the colours coming all the way down with like flowers. So let me just turn this down a touch and you'll be able to see the very faint colours in the background, which I actually really like. I actually think these turned out really cute and different. And then this one is the fairy, like the multicoloured fairy, which I think is really cute. These were ones that I did as a practice run. So these are similar to these, except I went over them all in white, and I thought it lost a lot of the colour. So this is one that I did with just black. Ugh, come on, get it together, girl. Hold on to your tips. So that's with just like the black on the front instead of the hollow. What do you think? Which one do you like best? A or B? And then we've got Peacock Feathers in like glossy and matte, both with like the silvery effect. Which one do you prefer? That one is matte and then this one is glossy. Oops. So that's the glossy one with like some more multicoloured different things in the background. And this one I did matte with the glitter. So which one? A or B? I actually like that one, but I like this one as well. I think they're both cute. I think that one's really nice on that part of the nail, just there. And then this was this one, but I totally messed up the design, so I wanted to redo that. But you could do a similar thing where you add colour, break and colour and do that. So that's what I did there. And then the last nail I totally changed my mind and did something completely different. So they're the flowers that I did, which I think still are cute, but I wanted to do something like that. But they're both cute, right? So that is everything. So let's have a look at all 10 nails before we go, shall we? We'll put them down in front of the pair. Okay, right, so yeah, so they're all 10 nails there. That's all 10. What do you think? I actually really love these jelly paints. I'm going to do this one next. I'm going to do something with the neons with stamping and foil decals, and then after that we're going to move on to the pearl, and hopefully by then I should have some of the other ones like the glitter paints and stuff like that, because my order is in the UK now. Yay! So because you can actually get tracking now on She Modern, which is cool for international. So yay! So that is it then for this video. Don't forget to check out Melinda, and yeah,